Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am Ruby Burrito and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be mostly just doing some farming in the background and talking about the next level of farming, going off of what I had discussed in the last couple videos. I did 3 parts on alt parking. If you didn't have the chance to see those, go ahead and take a look. Each one kind of talks about a different type of alt parking more in depth. This one's not going to be quite so in depth, but I'm going to kind of give some surface level information on some of the metas and different ways to farm within the game. I'm going to turn down the volume here a little bit. I've been having some audio issues. This will be my second time recording this. But so what I'm going to start with is the transition from, let's get out of combat, the transition from alt parking to solo farming. The first link in the description is going to be solo farming, and that is going to start off with Path of Fire. The first part on the FAST website, which again will be the first link in the description, is going to be Desert Highlands, the search for buried treasure. Now, the reason that this goes from alt parking to solo farming is you gotta go across the entire map if you want to maximize your profit. And that's the same thing for the next one, the Sunken Treasure Hunter Farm. You could technically do it as alt parking, but you're not going to get as much money if you do that. I mean, the Sunken Treasure Hunter Farm is different, but that one you can technically leave characters at each one, but I would suggest, because of how fast it is, the difference is 6 minutes and 2 minutes. So I would say leave your alt parking characters someplace else. That's a little bit more profitable, because this is a 5 gold profit total. And use one character and go across all of them. The third one is going to be fishing, and that is going to require the End of Dragons, and to do the most profitable fishing location, you do need Path of Fire as well. That's actually going to be over here in the Crystal Oasis. It's somewhere along here in the Bay of Elon. Elon? Bad at pronouncing that one. There's a couple other places you can go. There's New Kaineng City, so if you just have the End of Dragons expansion, you can bypass the Path of Fire expansion, go to New Kaineng City, Kaineng Docks, and then if you just have End of Dragons, because you do need End of Dragons for this mastery down here, fishing. It had Path of Fire open because I'm on a Living World Season 4 map. I am currently doing the Volatile Magic / Karma / XP farm I was doing, or I talked about it in a previous video. I'm at 400 kills over the last period of time. I haven't really been keeping track. Just watching TV and getting some farming done. But you can go to the Straits of Devastation third. Apologize for the lapse of thought. And then Sandswept Isles, that's Living World Season 4, that requires Path of Fire. Lost Sound, back to Core. So all of the fishing requires End of Dragons, but some of them do require Path of Fire as well, if you want to maximize and switch things up. So going back, those are the top 3. The fourth one actually is going to be the Mussel Farm. Now, the Mussel Farm actually is going to take you across a lot of different places. So Tekkit has a farm guide on Taco, which Taco is a very useful tool. I can link Wooden Potatoes guide as well here, probably the second link then. And there is a way to get a ton of different mussels, and it's a fair amount of gold. It's 31 gold per hour to do it all, though. And this is the most important thing to note here. It's only 6 gold. The limitation on solo farming, though the profit per hour is very high, the amount of profit you get is pretty low. So the Desert Highlands, the profit per hour is 66, but the profit is only 22. And you can't just kind of keep doing these over and over again. There's a limitation. The muscle farm is 31 gold per hour, but only 6 gold, 66 silver, and 98 copper if you're doing it on one character. I believe that's limited by characters. So pay attention to what it is you need from them. And I'm going back to the alt parking here and saying if you need volatile magic, do something like this. This doesn't require a group. It may not be the most optimized way of getting volatile magic, but you get a fair bit. It's pretty mindless, and it gives you something to do. I don't need to worry about a group. I'm constantly killing guys, constantly getting volatile magic over here. I can kind of keep track. You can use the farming on Guild Wars 2 efficiency if you want, but that's one thing. If you just need pure gold, go for the Desert Highlands Buried Treasure. If you don't want to deal with getting a group, that's a really fast and efficient way of getting gold. It's not going to be pure gold. You're probably going to have to sell some stuff. But that's part of what farming in this game is about, is understanding what your material storage looks like and figuring out what you can and cannot sell. What you do and do not need. And like I said, if you find something that gives you a ton of not Living World Season 4 currencies, I mean, I guess that's one thing, but I meant the intermediate crafting materials, tier 5, tier 6, those things you need for a lot of different crafting. Those, you can find locations where they drop quite a bit. It's not going to be this, but for example, when I was doing my map completion, if I remember correctly, it was in, yes, Breachwater Lake. There's a heart right here where you, I believe maybe it's up here. I'm getting my locations mixed up. It's here. Right here, there's a heart, I believe, where, yeah, you have to join the Iron Legion in tearing down the Ascalonian Wall. People sit there on alts and they farm dust. It's a great way to get gold. Doesn't require a lot of thought, but dust is really important for turning one tier of crafting material into the next. So it can be a really beneficial way to get money, that combined with spirit shards. So if you don't have a goal, probably go for gold. Gold is generally the most helpful thing. The next half is going to be metas. Metas are closer to just full needing people. You need to have a group typically for all of these. For example, the number 1, number 2, and number 3 are all Dragonfall. That is Living World Season 4. That is this map. That is going to be... The first one is the Dragonfall meta. That is the final meta, I believe. And then you have the Dragonfall meta and Champ Train, and just the Champ Train. So those, again, like paying attention the way that I said for the solo farming, it says 52, 53 gold per hour, but it's only 6 gold per completion, and you're not going to be able to just rep them out one after the other. Eventually you get down to Crystal Oasis, Dragon's End. Dragon's End is a very good meta for getting gold, especially if you're going for anything within Dragon's End, not Dragon's End, the End of Dragons. Those currencies, crafting materials, all are beneficial for new gear sets. The Gen 3 legendaries are really cool, collections, etc., etc. Then you start getting into Orc Basin. Orc Basin is a very fast meta over in Heart of Thorns. Very fun. There's an event timer, actually, that I'm going to link in the description to show you what time things are, because everything is on a timer now. You're going to have just about 2 hours between most events. Some have longer. They're considered more elite events. So you've got to be aware of that as well. To find groups for that, if you are not familiar, you got the LFG tool. There's 4 different tabs here. Blocked. I'm not going to go to who I have blocked, just out of privacy. Followers and friends. So to explain how that works quickly, if I see this person right here, if I right click their thing and I want to add them as a friend, they will show up as a friend on my friends list. I will show up as a follower on their follower list. So if you want to be friendly and keep making friends, maybe let them know that you're sending them a friend request so that they can send you one too, and you don't just kind of get stuck on the follower page, because you don't always know when somebody sends. I don't know that there's a notification or anything, so you gotta be aware that that's typically how that works. The last page is the LFG page. This is how you find a group for just about everything. If I want to do a meta, I come here. If I'm doing a festival, you come here. Central Tyria parties can be just whatever, playing with anybody, learning something. That's just kind of a general Central Tyrian one. Squads is typically Reba. Living World is going to be Living World Seasons 1 and 2. World Bosses, again, at the top of the event timer, you can see all the World Bosses and the World Boss train. So that's what those are going to be. End of Dragons, typically going to be the metas, but you can see some jumping puzzles, help, and things like that. Icebrood Saga, same thing. Living World, all of these are going to be the same. Story Journal, as it sounds, you're going to be going through each of the different sets of the story. Festivals, the different things in festivals sometimes require different party sizes, so we're most likely going to have Winter's Day a week from tomorrow. And you're going to have the jumping puzzle, which you're on your own, but you're also going to have Snowball Mayhem, which you might want a squad for, or a party for. And then you've got Toy Apocalypse, which you also might want a party for. And so some things like the Labyrinth and Halloween is going to be in large squads, so just keep an eye out on those. PvP, the different formats there, World v World, different formats. Strike Mission and Raids. This is going to be experienced in training. If you are experienced, keep an eye there. If you don't mind teaching people, hop into somebody's training group and help them along, because I mean, you get to complete it anyways, and you help other people learn so that you can get more experienced groups faster. Fractals are the 4 different categories there. There's 8 different dungeons, a general achievement, general guild recruitment, general mentoring, and then role-playing, if that is what you want to do in the game. The biggest thing to note is if you are looking for a group, you can post in whatever fits your group. If you're a group looking for more, you will see that as well. So, as I said earlier, you have the Auric Basin. You can go to Heart of Thorns, Auric Basin, and you can see all of these different maps and commanders that are advertising for their groups. This is a group of 27 out of 50 that wants more people. And then if I join, you can see the commander's map is full, but over here, it'll give me my squad, and then I can map travel there, and then right click and hit join on map so that I can join them. That's gonna about wrap it up for today's overview, kind of slight intro into solo farming and metas. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment down below. I will have different links in the description so that you can take a look for yourself what the FAST website has, what I don't want to say professionals, but pretty dang good farmers will say about each of the different things. And if you like what you see, you feel you want to support, give a like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.